Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Coach Sherry. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm in my car, so this is Car Chat and all that. Now, I want to talk about relationships because I've been married for 28 years and we have 3 young adult children. And I'm hearing more and more of parents that just want to get rid of their children, just like, oh, I'm done with them. But you know what? Before you have children, you have to be very, very mindful of who you are selecting to have children with. I know that, people get caught in the heat of the moment and things happen. And, then 9 months later, 10 months later, here comes the baby. But prior to that, you have to put a person through an interview process as well as yourself. You are going through an interview process. You're figuring out who that person is. Will they be a good fit, not just for you, but for your future, for generations to come? Because if you are selecting them to be the father or the mother of your children, that's generations to come. That's giving a person a lot. That's putting a lot on a person's shoulder to say, you know what? You're worthy to be the father of my children. You're worthy to be the mother of my children. You have to go into relationships with that posture, feeling like this person may or may not be worthy to be the parent of my child. And you have to look at yourself. Are you worthy to be the parent of your child? Are you mature enough? Are you unselfish enough? Do you know the things to pour in, to groom your children with? Are you ready? Because raising children, it definitely takes two. Now, the two does not necessarily have to be in the same household, but the two have to be mature, respectable, responsible adults to raise children. And that is just everything I stand on. So when people come and, they quote unquote look mature, appear mature, they're adults, they're grown, and they want to just throw their children away, it really pauses me. Your children is no one's responsibility but yours. God gave you those children as your gift. And how are you really handling that gift? Are you accepting that gift with your whole heart? Are you redoing your lifestyle to accommodate that gift? Because babies and children, they did not ask to be here. They are here because of something that you did, your actions. So are you being responsible for that gift and honoring it and grooming it to be amazing for the society that it's in? And so I'm saying all this. I have 3 young adult children, and when I met my husband, I knew that he was a good man. And I'm going to tell you, I've dated many, many great men prior to meeting my husband, but my husband was the best of the best, for sure. And when I met him and I saw how he interacted with all people of all ages, I'm talking about people that fought in World War II, senior citizens to babies, and I saw how patient he was and how caring he was, and I knew that would be a good father. And then seeing how he treated his mother and his father, the respect that he has for them, I knew that he was going to be a good man. And the way that he loved me and cared for me, like I knew I needed to be cared for, it just sealed the deal. And I'm telling you, as parents, as mothers, your daughters and your sons are seeing how you move as a mother. They're seeing how you move as a wife. And I was raised by a mother and a wife. And so she was my example of how I needed to be. And as men, as women too, you look at your fathers to see how it is to be a husband, to be a father. And when you have those examples, you too shall walk in those same steps and even elevate even that much more, because as parents, you want your children to do even better than you. And unfortunately, sometimes, even if you have those great examples, sometimes you'll connect with the person that did not necessarily have those examples or who strayed away from those examples, and they will pull you down. Don't let someone pull you out of character. Don't let someone pull you out of what is right, because doing it wrong, no one wins. It always ends up being a situation that someone is going to be hurt, someone's going to want to be thrown away, or you're going to want to throw someone away. And that is why I've been praying for my children's spouses since they were 3 years old, because I knew that they were born. And I want my children's spouses to have great examples, to have great experiences in life. So when they finally connect with my children, that they will be ready to receive someone that was raised by a mother and a wife, that was raised by a father and a husband, and respect them and receive it in a way that is positive, and not try to throw it away and look at it as trash or being weak. Because you love and do well in life, that's not being weak. That is not being corny. That is none of those things. And unfortunately, in our society, if you haven't had those trials and tribulations and, oh, woe is me, or, oh, it was a terrible situation, then you're not looked upon as someone that can still achieve greatness. The greatness that you achieve is not really looked upon as an accomplishment. Because again, just because you may have had those great examples growing up doesn't mean that you're going to still stay on that track, still stay on that path. So many people waver off, and it's like, wow, it's unfortunate because I know that they weren't raised that way. Have you heard that before, where people say, wow, why are they acting like that? I know they weren't raised that way. But sometimes you get those heavy influencers out there in society that you connect with that let you or try to convince you that the other side is that much better. Or they try to fit in with the wrong people. And because they're trying to fit in, they start doing things in ways that are not going to be uplifting or supportive for their life. I get it. We have strong feelings for people. We desire them. And that is all good, but you have to look at the total picture. I remember my mother and her sisters and some elder friends or some of her girlfriends were at a wedding, and the bride and groom really were like, it was like, y'all going to get a room after this. Calm down. And I remember sitting around the older women, and they all were like, look at them. Look at them. He want to eat her now, but he going to want to spit her out later. And that is exactly what happened. So when you totally desire someone, you lust after them, do a pulse check, all right? And see what else about them besides what's between their legs, besides what is inside of them, whatever, how they make you feel. What else is it about them that is attracting you to them that's going to keep you there? Are they a good person? Do they have respect for themselves? Do they have respect for you? Because if that's going to be your future mother or your future father of your children, you have to look at them beyond the desire, beyond the lust, because that does not always make a good parent, at least not for you, for where you're trying to go in life. And then when you have the children, you try to make your problem somebody else's problem, and that's not what's going to happen. That is your responsibility. So select wisely. When you don't select wisely, you have no one to blame but yourself. So again, as adults, when you are selecting someone to be in a relationship with, look at them in their total package. Look at them of how they move in different circles with their family and friends, with you, with your family and friends. How are they moving? What is their background like? What are they bringing to the table? Not just financially, but emotionally. What are they bringing to the table? And can you really handle that? What is their reputation out there in them streets? Don't think because they're with you that their reputation is going to be repaired. You are not about, it's not about saving a hoe right now. It's about your future. It's about your legacy and how you want your future and your legacy to be groomed in this society. I'm not saying that people can't make a change in their life. Absolutely they can. But you have to know for yourself where you are in your life, how you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Can you handle that? Are you that person that is going to save the hoe and make them a better person? And a hoe could be a man or a woman. I'm not just talking about women for sure. But are you that one that could turn it around? Are you that special? Do you feel that you could absolutely turn that person's entire situation around permanently, not just for the moment? Because some people are imposters and they can change for that moment to look good, just to get that, to get to that altar, to get to that delivery room, whatever the case may be. But you have to look beyond that. You have to be smarter, open your mind, because some people, they go into relationships with blinders on. They go into relationships with closed minds, but open hearts and open other parts of their body that just is not going to send that blood flow back to the brain. And so you have to pay attention, because listen, we are responsible for the children that we bring into this world, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. You are responsible for those babies. And so you have to look at the partner that you're partnering with to make them, to create them. And I'm not saying that every relationship is perfect. Every parent, that is raised again by mother and father is perfect. That's not what I'm saying at all. But even if you don't have a 2-parent household, who is that other that's in your life that is influencing you, that's giving you that example? I just remember growing up where my father would run to the door to open it. My mother and I never had to touch the door handle, ever. And I married someone just like that. I never had to touch the door handle. And I remember when my son got old enough, and when we would go somewhere as a family, and for some reason, I was always the last one to leave the house. And I could hear my husband in the truck telling my son, get the door for your mother, so I wouldn't have to touch the door handle. And that's what I'm talking about. And just seeing how my husband is towards me, my daughters are very selective. And I remember when my center daughter made that realization that, you know what, I'm not going to put up with anyone that's not going to treat me as well as my dad, or as well as I know my brother is, because it's not worth it. That's not what she was raised to do or raised to accept, and that's the thing. What are you accepting in your relationships? Why are you just, giving that one thing a pass? The things that you give a pass on are the things that matter the most. You might think it's something small, but it's not. So be mindful of that, because this is who you may be bringing life into the world with. So be mindful of who they are, how they're showing up, not just for you, but for others. I hope I wasn't running on and on too much, but I did want to come out here and share this information. Again, my channel is all about legacy. It's, me sharing information that I know on business, workforce development, career readiness, and life, because I have 3 young adult children, and hopeful, God willing, I will see my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. But if I don't, I have these videos as my legacy, as my tools, my resources for them and those to come beyond them, because this right here is not going anywhere. So I appreciate you for tuning in. I hope you were able to get a nugget or two from it. If you're in a relationship that you might be saying to yourself, I might need to rethink it. A relationship is like an interview process. You know how in interviews, they ask you behavioral questions because they want to see how you may have responded in different situations, because they know that that's going to transfer to the work environment and what they may have you doing. Well, that's how a relationship is. You're watching their behavior, because you know that how they respond in certain things, or how they may have responded, that it's going to happen again. That's part of who they are. Those are the skills. Those are the things that are going to transfer with them no matter who they are with. So be very, very mindful of that. Every day is an interview, whether it's professional or personal. So how are you interviewing? What do you have to clean up in your life so that you can attract the great men or women that you really know you desire and deserve? What are you doing for yourself to elevate yourself? And it's not just on the financial, it's the emotional, the spiritual, it's everything. So what are you doing? All right, everyone, that's all I have for you today. I am Coach Sherry, and remember, practice really hard. Practice and do your best during your practice, so that when you get in the game, you will always, always play to win. Have a great day and stay safe.